And so in this case, they basically walked around this whole area, didn't do a full alert, but clearly had an interest. And so we basically did a really systematic, very tightly spaced grid because of the nature of the target's potential size. Um, Unfortunately, it was in an area that had a bunch of big trees with a bunch of big roots. And so we did it by doing it systematically and like recreating somewhat in 3D on the spot. We were able to reject some of the responses as probable roots, right? Because like they're longer or kind of they wave and do this kind of thing, and we were able to identify in this kind of decently sized area 7 locations that would be better to investigate. We kind of ranked them and said, well, these 2 had the highest probability of being of interest, and these 2 sort of were like moderate, and then these 3 I think are probably roots or a rock or something like that, but aren't linear like you'd expect for a root. And so we kind of went through that process, and like for example, one of the reasons that we characterized one of them as a higher probability was so in the GPR, right, it's showing you the top down into the subsurface, and it's a profile view, right? So like if you like excavate it out and then jumped into the excavation trench and look at the side, you're getting a profile of that soil stratigraphy. And so across this area was generally a like humic layer or organic soils and buildup, right? And it was very clear, distinct reflection response at, call it, I don't know, a foot down, whatever it was, I don't remember exactly, but it was across the area in general. There was one area that had a very clear break in that structure, and
Okay,
it's
that's
sort
what
of
you're looking for.
indicative, right, of a potential excavation out,
Gotcha.
maybe for a small grave, right, of an infant,
Wow.
or it could have been for a garbage pit. I mean,